Area high schools were busy today honoring our local stars as they sign on to continue their careers in college. We'll start early this morning at Hidden Valley, where Coach Scott Weaver had a couple of stars moving on. Tackle Cole Bridgers is headed to Concord University for football. At Liberty Christian Academy this morning in Lynchburg, 5 stars are moving on, including linebacker Mason Wolk to play football at nearby Liberty. North Cross School this afternoon. Coach Stephen Alexander's state runner-up team sends 2 to the college ranks. Defensive lineman David Call, he's on your left, heads to William and Mary. There he is. And it's a big return home for Darius Bratton. The William Fleming grad has spent the past year at Fork Union Prep. Today comes back to the Colonels to sign his letter of intent to play at UVA. Meantime, the Cavaliers' tradition of quality athletics continues in Daleville today. Maggie Quarles is headed to Lynchburg College. Danville today, the Eagles' Quashawn Forrest broke David Wilson's single-season rushing record, you'll recall. Today, he signs on with Lewisburg College in Lewisburg, North Carolina. A soccer player going to UVA, Irakosi Donasiano. Congrats to him. The Hokies and Wahoos both took the floor in round 2 of the ACC tournament here in Brooklyn, and both faced serious challenges before they were able to survive and advance to the quarterfinals. Seth Allen poured in 18, and Zach Leday was an absolute monster, putting up a career-high 31 points and adding 15 rebounds. UVA got all they wanted and more from the 14-seed Pitt Panthers, leading by 11 at the break. Pitt rallied to within 2 before UVA responded to squash the threat.
The high school basketball championship started today in Richmond, and the girls won a state title game. Perry McClure against George Wythe, a rematch of the region final. And our own Eric Johnson has more from Richmond.
While Perry McClure won their first ever state title, the Radford Bobcats were going for number 6, their 5th under head coach Rick Cormany. Maroons push it up. Malik Johnson, he hit a 3. Time expires, however, and Radford hangs on for the 61-60 win and are crowned your 1A champs.
My hat's off to George Wythe and Coach Burns and his kids. Champions never quit.
Our own Alyssa Ray is in the Great White North with more on Virginia Tech as they prepare for the Badgers. Alyssa.
Well, Appy, Wisconsin and Virginia Tech both practiced yesterday, and the first thing you notice about the Badgers is their size, and that's something Virginia Tech has been lacking all season, especially since Chris Clark's injury. But notably on the Badgers roster, there are 3 players that the Hokies need to watch out for tonight.
Martinsville Speedway has certainly had its fair share of dominating drivers over the years, but here recently, it's been all about JGR and Hendrick Motorsports. Dating back to 2012, 8 of the past 10 races have been won by a driver of either JGR or Hendrick Motorsports.
Brad Keselowski's first win here at Martinsville Speedway has been long awaited. The number 2 car finished second twice in the last 4 races here at the Paperclip, but he finally made his way to victory lane.
Martinsville's a special track, 7th anniversary.
Salem season opener tonight versus the Down East Wood Ducks. Yes, the Wood Ducks. Now, we know Alyssa Ray has been known to sit for hours in a duck blind awaiting mallards with her 12 gauge and her pink camo. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. She joins us live to help us understand the 2017 version of those Salem socks. Alyssa, take it away.
Yeah, Appy, obviously Duck Dynasty has nothing on me, but opening day is an exciting time for fans.
All right, today's action begins with girls soccer, where Southwest Virginia dominates, including a pair of 4A powers who could meet again in the state finals pending today's results. So keep that in mind. Head coach Matt Newton and Jefferson Forest versus Kings Fork. 4A state semifinal, Jamestown and Salem. Who would play JF? Second half, Spartans up 1-0. Morgan Brooks corner kick. Mallory Edwards header, 2-0 lead. A 3-time defending state champs Blacksburg versus Brentsville. And here we go, first half. Blacksburg's goalie coming up big. Blacksburg with a chance. Blake Carroll free kick from 30 yards. That's off the crossbar. They'd start with Tab after the 3A boys game prior to that win in overtime. But nonetheless, Shelley Blumenthal getting his boys ready. Cavs out firing Austin Bissell, but that was a save. Later, a corner for Blacksburg by Bissell. Header Ryan Santamaria in front. Stewart's draft against undefeated Giles. In the 7th minute, Mountaineers strike first. Will Wilkerson kicking it in from straight on. Stewart's draft was up 3-2 at one point, but Giles would battle back. Off the pass, Luke Stubbs Finishing with the header right there. Powerhouse Radford. Yeah, they're in it to win it, taking on Rappahannock. Bobcats scored one early, then kept the Raiders off the board. Gunnar Lemming puts it in play. Matt Delano almost gets the header later. It's been an amazing run to glory for Dan River. The Wildcats find themselves in the state semis as the 2A West champs. Top of the first, Mountaineers had the bases loaded. Zach Adams chipping one down to third. Beats the throw, run, scores. Brookville looking to make its 4th straight title game appearance in girls softball, facing York at Moyer. Do I need to say more than Jordan Dale, 3-hit shutout, 15 strikeouts. Roanoke College is scheduled to push off for Appleton, Wisconsin tomorrow. Alyssa Ray has more on this year's Cinderella on the Diamonds.
The Roanoke College baseball team is blazing a postseason historic trail. The program has many firsts this year. First ODAC championship, first regional title, and first College World Series berth.
And this year's Scott Robertson Memorial got underway this morning. Round 1 wrapping up as we speak, despite a short weather delay due to storms. Eric Johnson has the story of one young man who's overcoming a disability to play the sport he loves.
In its 34 years of existence, the Scott Robertson has seen very diverse fields of junior golfers. But this year, there's a first.
Honestly, this is our first individual that has a disability, so this is new for us.
Matthew Doyle suffers from a rare degenerative bone condition that affects his hip, known as Legg-Calvé-Perthes disease.
Live to Eric Johnson, who joins us live at the starting line. The national anthem has just wrapped up. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning, Rachel. That's right. National anthem is just wrapped up. A lot of the races are getting set right behind me, right here near the start line. We got the president of Foot Levelers just wrapping up some comments here on stage.
And the Redskins are busy in Richmond revamping a defense that was near the bottom of the league in multiple categories. Alyssa Ray joins us from Washington's training camp, where the revamp also includes the coaching staff. Alyssa.
Appy, as we've seen in the past, sometimes the road to Washington, D.C. goes through Blacksburg, and that's certainly the case for the Redskins' new defensive backs coach, Torian Gray, who's a familiar face to Southwest Virginia. Between Kendall Fuller and D'Angelo Hall, the Redskins' defensive backfield already has some Hokie flavor.
To the 2-time Masters champ, Bubba Watson, who stands as an ambassador for the Greenbrier. The PGA star owns a house and 11 acres in the Allegheny Mountains as part of the Resort Sporting Club of the Greenbrier. Watson was at the Greenbrier the night of the flood when 11 inches of rain fell in just 5.5 hours, and the devastation followed.
How could you not help? How could you not be a part of this? And I've shed many a tear in my life, and not as much as I have for West Virginia.
Today, our own Eric Johnson catches up with another Hardy product who continues to roam the hardwoods in the NBA.
I was just very appreciative of just being in the NBA because it's at 1%. I'm part of that 1%, and I never, not one time, thought about that.
Leading up to this one.
Sure, I think that's natural, but the last time these two teams got together, the Hokies were a 3-loss Coastal Division champ, frankly, just looking to play spoiler in that ACC title tilt. I don't think anybody was expecting that 42-35 shootout that they got.
Year 1 was about establishing a presence and understanding the requirements, but now in their 2nd year in existence, the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs are shifting their focus to gaining continuity on the ice.
Now, complete high school football coverage with John Appicello, Alyssa Ray, and Eric Johnson. This is 10 Sports First and 10.
Now we're going round the horn with teams we're keeping our eyes on. We're starting with Eric. Take it away.
All right, I'm going to go Class 2, Glenver Highlanders, 2014 title winners. They've been contenders ever since. 5 losses in the past 3 years.
Brookville, they have a consistent postseason appearance run for 12 straight seasons. They captured state titles in 2011, 2012. John Meeks is entering his 4th season. He hyped up his quarterback, Tanner Bernard.
My eyes on Coach Joe Favero's bunch, the Warriors, back-to-back state titles a couple of years ago, ousted by Stanton River last year. Love Akira Greenfield returning at quarterback. He is a beast. I think Magna Vista will have something to say in the 3A ranks. On the way out, we're at Patterson Stadium. I want to mention Bob Patterson was a legendary principal here for 34 years. First and 10 coming your way tomorrow night at 11:10. Don't miss it. We'll see you then. Both Lord Botetourt and Stanton River, they look like playoff powers to me. Alyssa Ray saw them play to the final whistle tonight and joins us now that the smoke has cleared. Alyssa.
Well, this is a match made in high school football heaven, and when two unbeaten teams in our area, both in 3A, collide, this is what you call a game of the week no-brainer. The Eagles won this game by a landslide last year, but you best bet the Cavaliers aren't letting that happen again. It's all red, white, and Catawba crazies. The LB student section pepped up and patriotic. Cavaliers up 7-0. First drive of the second half. They were at it again. Preston Martin rolls out, finds Jake DeWeese to take a 14-0 lead.
Well, Northside has been through plenty, a third head coach in 3 years, but they haven't backed off their commitment or their expectations. And Eric, Coach Fisher, at least my perception is he doesn't put up with any nonsense.
That's exactly right. And when you think about their schedule, there's really no time for nonsense at all. Right. I will tell you, they got one of the toughest schedules in the area, and really no time for that nonsense, as Appy mentioned. They come in having been shut out the past 2 weeks. On the other side, though, the Maroon Tide have been riding a big wave of success, 3 straight wins, scoring 116 points over the last 2 weeks. Different story tonight, though. Picture us tonight in Roanoke County. Vikings score on just their third play from scrimmage. This is Mr. Devon Russell from 53 yards out, marches to the end zone. 7-0 Northside.
To Charlottesville now, where the Hokies and the Who's are meeting for the 99th time in a series that started in 1895. But it's the recent history that matters most. Hokies with a 13-game win streak coming in. Alyssa Ray is in Charlottesville with more on tonight's festivities. Alyssa.
Well, this week is about 3 things: food, family, and football. So put down your Thanksgiving leftovers. It's time for an in-state rivalry that's expected to be a cornucopia of a good time. The Virginia Tech-Virginia game goes with Thanksgiving weekend like turkey goes with Thanksgiving dinner. But instead of passing the rolls, Virginia quarterback Kurt Benkert is passing downfield. And Benkert's stats are as loaded as your first helping of mashed potatoes.
Ridge rematch of state champions from a year ago, this time in a region title tilt. Eric Johnson is in Blacksburg, where Salem was stunned by the Bruins earlier this season. Eric.
Hey, Appy, you know, a lot of things has changed since that first matchup 2 months ago, but the one thing that's been consistent, and that's winning for both teams. And not only that, but the way it's taken place. Blacksburg's defense has gotten better each and every week, and for Salem, they've discovered that keeping it simple is their key to success.
I'm here at Hidden Valley Country Club in Salem. Terrific venue, obviously, for our Player of the Year banquet. As many of you know, this is one of the first projects I took on when I hit the ground running here in the Roanoke Valley, and it has really blossomed into a great event. Our Player of the Year has really turned into quite a contest, if you will.
Last week, 1 yard hurt the Hokies, but in Saturday's game against Pittsburgh, 1 yard helped the Hokies get their 8th win of this season. In a game full of ups and downs, the seniors showed resilience when it mattered most, and it helped the team snap a 2-game losing skid. Standout receiver Cam Phillips had 8 catches for 117 yards and the all-important go-ahead touchdown in the 4th quarter, which turned out to be record-breaking. He is now Tech's all-time leader in receiving yards.
If you're feeling a little nostalgic this weekend, we understand. Miami and Virginia Tech was the big matchup back in the Big East days. Many times. In the ACC days, not as much, but Saturday night we turned back the clock not once but twice. The first coming at 8:15, the other later on for that extra hour of sleep. Alyssa Ray is in Miami and no doubt thankful for both the game and the extra hour before that flight on Sunday. Alyssa.
Hey, absolutely. We'll enjoy that daylight savings time. But Virginia Tech has been known for its defense for many years under defensive coordinator Bud Foster. Currently, they're ranked nationally 2nd in scoring defense.
The Camping World Bowl turned out to be a great matchup, littered with missed opportunities and big plays. A good campfire story for years to come. To Orlando, Florida, Camping World Stadium.
Virginia Tech fans are probably happy Christmas is over because the Hokies don't want to see any more Rudolphs anytime soon. Oklahoma State quarterback Mason Rudolph threw for 351 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Cowboys' victory.
And the Military Bowl, nothing short of a disaster for UVA today. Making a bowl a giant accomplishment for this team, but failing to show for this one, not what the program doctor ordered. To Annapolis, where the Budweiser Clydesdales added to the pomp and circumstance that is the Military Bowl.
By the looks of the opening kickoff, it felt like UVA would have a storybook ending to 2017, but that's until Navy wrote their own chapter in the book, dominating the clock and keeping UVA out of rhythm.